Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Robert Barr, and I'm pleased that you're joining me and one another for this streaming Shabbat service. This is a chance for us to pause, to catch our breath, to think about where we've been and where we're going, for the days flow into one another without interruption. Time races on. The Sabbath is our means to divert time, a stepping off point, pausing with friends and loved ones to observe, then rejoice in the wonder-filled coincidence of living. There can be a sense of pleasure in every given breath, blessed with taste to savor and warmth to give and to receive, bestowed with gifts of sight and sound. We are obliged to cherish and revel in each smile, in every musical note. The Sabbath also awakens us to the silence between the notes. It speaks of contemplation, the quiet delight of literature, of unhurried walks, of rare conversation. The Sabbath can be our interlude, our ritual pause in this lively current, our signal to step more lightly, to appreciate more profoundly, to dive more deeply into the questions that life is asking. Again, I'm Rabbi Robert Barr of Congregation Beth. That's our bricks and mortar congregation here in Loveland, Ohio. That's part of Greater Cincinnati, and our Jewish community, our online initiative, which we began about 15 years ago. We recognized then that being online afforded us a unique opportunity. It allowed us to remain connected with members who moved out of town, students who grew up here and went off to college, and then people who encountered us somehow. Maybe they read about us in an article, or perhaps they came here for a bar about mitzvah, and they liked what we were doing and they wanted to remain connected. Being online afforded us that opportunity. Obviously, during the pandemic, it became even more important. Social distancing meant that we weren't coming back to the congregation in person. So being online allowed us to remain connected with one another. And now that the pandemic is in the rearview mirror, we still continue to stream our services because we recognize that it is a way to remain connected with one another, to share the voice of Judaism that we're doing here with folks who find it of value. What's important is that you find it of value, that you find the words that we have created here at Congregation Beth Adam speak to you. Because here at Congregation Beth Adam, for the last 40 years, we recognize that we're not our ancestors. We don't need to mimic or parrot the words that they wrote. We recognize that they lived at a different time, with a different set of experiences and different understandings than we have, that it was our responsibility and opportunity to create something fresh, to create a Judaism that speaks to who we are and what we believe. That is what we've been doing here at Congregation Beth Adam for over 40 years. And we recognize that membership and being part of this community isn't geographic any longer. The internet has taught us that. You don't have to just be physically in Greater Cincinnati to be part of this community. You're part of this community wherever you are. That's one of the opportunities that technology affords us. It also means that you don't have to watch our services at 7 o'clock when they stream for the first time or posted for the first time. You can watch them whenever it is convenient for you. It means that I can interview people at different times and bring those interviews into our service tonight. It means you can chat with one another like people are doing on bethadam.org right now. So chat, be friendly. And those of you who aren't on bethadam.org, but maybe on one of our Facebook pages, let us know where you are participating from. It's always gratifying to know that we are speaking to and reaching people around the world and in different places, that what we are doing here has meaning because we give voice to a bold, dynamic Judaism. And you're a part of it if you're doing this service with me and one another right now. So we're going to continue our service with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. The candles of Shabbat stand before us, waiting to meet the flame, longing to share the warmth, ready to shed their light. Like those who came before us, like all people, we find comfort and fear in flame, endless swirl of fascination, mystery and awe. Like all who came before us, like all people, we are graced with the desire and the will to understand. So we continue our ancestors' search for answers, pushing away the darkness of ignorance. The flames they saw as magic and beyond comprehension became flames of knowledge and hope. But still, we look with wonder, inspired by their beauty and power. We embrace the flames of Shabbat. We embrace the light, our vessel of understanding and mystery. As we light our Shabbat candles, we celebrate our journey, our quest, our moments of peace. May the light of our people shine. May the light of the Shabbat cast its warmth in our homes. May these candles burn with respect for all who push beyond the bounds of ignorance, for all who seek justice, for all who build community. May these candles burn with memory of all who came before us. May we draw on the many ways our people have given voice to their ideas and their values. And may we add our own insight to the glow. Baruch ha'or ba'adam, blessed is the light within each person. Baruch ha'or ba'olam, blessed is the light within the world. Baruch ha'or ba'Shabbat, blessed is the light of the Sabbath. So we're going to have a very special and important conversation tonight. Many of you know that I have announced my retirement, that I will be concluding my tenure here at Congregation Beth Adam as the senior rabbi, or as we call it, RCE, Rabbi Chief Executive, at the end of June of 2025. So I haven't asked the chair of our search committee, Maureen Marks, to have a conversation with us about how that search is going to take place. I hope you listen carefully and that you learn about what we're doing and how we are going about this very important process. So I'm pleased that this evening, Maureen Marks is joining us for a really important conversation that really is about the future of Congregation Beth Adam. So Maureen, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. For those of you who don't know Maureen, Maureen is a past president of Congregation Beth Adam, aren't you? But
yes.
You are.
And two-term board member.
Wow. And currently you're serving an important position. What's that position you're serving now?
So I am currently the chair of the Rabbinical Search Committee for Congregation Beth Adam.
So that has all been prompted by the fact that, if you don't know, I announced that I will be retiring as the Rabbi Chief Executive. That's my formal title. Some people would call it Senior Rabbi, but we use the formal term Rabbi Chief Executive as of June 30th, 2025, about really 2 years from now. If you haven't read, you can go to Congregation Beth Adam, and there's under about, you go down, it pulls out Rabbinic Search, and you can read the letter that I wrote the congregation and the letter that Marcy Rosenston, who's the president of the congregation, wrote the congregation about my impending retirement. And when a rabbi announces he or she is going to retire, there is a Rabbinic Search Committee. And we tapped, I guess the board really tapped you to serve that function. So could you just talk a little bit about what you're doing and how you're doing it and putting the pieces together?
Yeah, well, in vintage Beth Adam style, we've been at this for like a year about, so we are very prepared. You gave us a lot of runway to be able to get prepared for this transition and to really take our time and make sure that we're setting up a process that is going to be equitable, inclusive, and thorough in a way that is going to be good for the future of the congregation. And that's really what we're all concerned about, is making sure that that the future of Beth Adam is bright and forward-looking. And it's a very unique position to be in, to go from our founding rabbi, which is obviously you, to our next rabbi. That's a really important moment in a congregation. And so having this runway to be able to really make a good plan to ensure that we are recruiting just the right person for this role, I think has been crucial. So we've really been at this about a year. I was tapped. I guess I accepted the role in February of 2022. We started pulling together the committee over that summer. And I've been working, we have a consultant. And so we've been working with our consultant. And the committee started meeting officially last August. And we've broken up into 3 separate teams, and an engagement team, which had been tasked with really involving the congregation and making sure our members are understanding what we're doing and why we're doing it, making sure they have opportunities to be able to provide input and feedback. And I can talk about that in a little more detail if that would be helpful. And we also have a recruitment and selection team. And so that team is really tasked with helping us kind of guide our posting, what that posting is going to look like, what's going to be included in how we advertise our congregation and advertise this role, and set up our interview process and how we're going to evaluate our candidates. And then we have a cultural transition team, and that team is really looking at how we can do a really nice kind of warm transition between you and the new RCE. So making sure that we have events planned to honor you and pay tribute to what you've built and what you've done all these years for the congregation, and to be able to formally bring in our new RCE. And make sure that there's opportunities for them to be really welcomed and acculturated, and opportunities for the members to be able to meet the new RC once that person's selected.
Wow.
So,
I mean, I appreciate the work that you and everybody's been doing. I know, it's a lot of tasks. It's something that we never did before, and we didn't have it set up. So the first piece was, I know there was surveys done of the congregation, get as many people responding what their hopes are, concerns are about what the next person sitting in my seat would bring to the table.
Yeah, so we are really, really fortunate that we have as a member in our congregation, a woman who is does this as her job. She owns a market research company, and so she knows how to do this really, really well. And so we've had multiple engagements with the congregation, starting in October, where we did kind of a launch of the search process. We laid out for the congregation how we were going to be proceeding, kind of answered as many questions as we could right up front, told them that there was going to be really a lot of opportunities for them to get involved and to be engaged. And then starting in January, we started doing individual conversations and some group conversations to start getting kind of the qualitative data that we needed to be able to build the survey. And so we did, I think, 33 different group and individual conversations through the month of January. And that team gathered all of that information and then drafted a survey based on that, so that we were using language that made sense to the members and that would resonate with them. And so we launched that survey in March, and it was for, I think, end of February, early March. It was open for 3 weeks. We had multiple reminders, and we had an over 40% response rate, which is really good for a voluntary survey. Most if you get 30%, you're usually feeling pretty good about it, and we got over 40%. Wow. So we were really happy about that, and it went to all of our members in good standing, and so we got good feedback. We had some demographic questions so that we could look at the data by demographic, and the demographics that seemed to be the most informative were based on tenure, so based on kind of length of membership and on whether someone was a religious school parent or not. So those were kind of the big 4 categories that we used. Members that had been with us 5 years or less. I think 5 to 15 years, and then 15 and over, I think, or over 20. So we looked at those in addition to the religious school parents, and we got some great information. And what we found was that there was a lot more consensus across the membership than we anticipated. That in terms of kind of what people are looking for and what's important to them about the congregation is really much more aligned, even across those categories than what we expected.
That's
and so
great.
we're using that. Yeah, we're using that data. We did a feedback session. So after the survey closed, we met with the congregation. We had an open meeting during adult education, and anybody who was interested was able to be there either in person or on Zoom. We did a hybrid meeting, and we shared what the data was telling us, and answered questions. And now we're using that information to help build the kind of posting and the brochure, and how we're thinking about the questions that we want to ask for the interviews and stuff.
So a posting, for those who may not be familiar, that's what they call the job advertisement,
the job announcement, right?
It's a job announcement, right? Mm-hmm. In the rabbinic world, they use the word posting, and I think the rest of the world, they owe the job
announcement.
Job announcement. So this is the job announcement that explains what the job is of a rabbinic chief executive, being responsible for the congregation. Talks about moving to Cincinnati, which is a wonderful opportunity. Cincinnati is a unique Jewish community. It has lots of strengths. And so it's going to talk about that. And then, and when is that going to be officially launched? If somebody's like, I'm watching this, I'm really interested in the job. When can I read about the job, and where can I read about the job?
So we're shooting to have the announcement go kind of live in early August. So we're shooting for August 1st. To have the posting out, and we've identified a few different platforms that we're going to put it on. We'll also have it on our website. That's really the best place to look, the simplest. Is just go to bethadam.org, and there'll be a special place for the rabbinic search process and for candidates. And so that's really where people can look to get information about, when we're taking applications and what it is we're looking for in the application.
And on the website already, if you've not gone, there is a section, again, where if you go into to about, under drop down, there's rabbinic search. There's already a list of questions and answers that the committee pulled together. That if you're interested to learn about sort of the process, who's involved in the process, that's already there. And then we'll put the posting there so that people can read it. Now, some of you who are participating tonight may be rabbis, or maybe you stumbled across us on Facebook, so you can read about it there. And maybe you're not a rabbi, but you think you're involved in Beth Adam, and you know somebody. You could go there and then forward it to them, because we'll also email it to people as well if you know people who you think would be appropriate for this position. Are there sort of big overarching sort of qualities or issues that people want to make sure the person who replaces me, or is it replace?
Steps in. Who comes next? The person who comes next.
Because,
right. Yeah. Because there's no replacing you, and we all know that.
That's very sweet.
But there's, so, one of the things that really came out of our engagement survey was that the kind of top things that were most important to the congregation is that the person aligns with our mission, vision, and values, which you can find on our website. If you don't know those, you can go on our website and you can see how those are written, and with our concept of God, which is different than than other forms of Judaism, than other kind of what we think of as more traditional congregations. And so those are really, really important. A focus on education, both adult and children, is really important to our congregation. So I think those are kind of, when I think about deal breakers, those are the deal breakers for us, is that someone really has to be, comfortable and excited about humanistic Judaism, kind of the progressive Judaism that we practice at Beth Adam, and are comfortable and aligned with our mission, vision, and values as they're stated.
Right. Well, that's great. So just to remind, so it'll get posted early August 1st, perhaps.
Yep.
People can, if somebody's interested, what would they do? They would call me? No.
No. I mean,
don't call me,
we're taking a no wrong door approach, so a no wrong door. Yeah, a no wrong door approach. And we're also kind of taking a candidate care model approach too. We want candidates to have a good experience through our search process. It's not just because we understand that we're interviewing, but we're also being interviewed. And so, we want our candidates to have a really good experience through this process. So, the best way to submit materials will be through our dedicated email address, which is Rabbinical Search Committee, all kind of lowercase, at bethadam.org. That's really the best place. That will be on the website. It'll be, easy to find on our website in that search section. But again, if you reach out to our executive director, if you reach out to you, Robert, there, like I said, there is no wrong door. People, if you reach out to a board member, you happen to know one of our board members, all of those folks are going to know how to get you to the right place to be able to get your material submitted. We want this to be an inclusive process where we don't have preconceived notions about who this person might be or what kind of personal qualities they might have other than what I've just stated, that we're really looking for somebody who's excited about the kind of Judaism that we practice.
Mm-hmm. And the position, so we're going to post it. People will start submitting their resumes, their CVs, the materials. Then there'll be a series of interviews, I guess, for an interview process.
We have 3 phases. There's going to be an initial phase. The first 2 phases will be Zoom interviews. The first one will probably be about 30 to 45 minutes in length. We have standard questions that we've already drafted for that. And then the second round of interviews, we'll make decisions about who goes on to the second round. Second round of interviews will also be on Zoom. Those will be a little bit deeper conversation, probably more like 60 to 75 minutes. We're still working on what kind of, if we want standard questions for that, that'll probably be a little bit more tailored conversation to the particular candidate. And then from that second round, then we'll move to in-person interviews. And we're really looking to have hopefully 3 to 4 really solid candidates to bring in for in-person interviews. We're thinking about that the first round of interviews would likely start as soon as high holidays are over, because we know many of our candidates are in jobs most likely, and that the high holidays are a tough time to start doing interviews. We'll be open to that. If there are candidates who can do that, we'll certainly be open to that. But that's really what we're targeting is first round interviews in October, second round interviews in November, and hopefully in-person interviews in December and early January.
And even though I'm formally finished as my tenure on June of 30th of 25, the congregation is prepared to hire somebody to start in July of 24, right? Isn't that?
Yes. And that's, thanks to you and your flexibility and your commitment to us finding the right person. So if we find the right person this time out, then we'd be ready to hire that person and have them start next summer, July 1st of 24. And through the process, we would, work with the new person to, determine, kind of how you would fit into that picture. And, so, if from our point of view, we would hope that, the next RCE would want to benefit from, your consultation and your wisdom around the congregation. So, but we'll see how it all unfolds.
It's really exciting. I know lots of folks are nervous. It's because, change can be always nerve-wracking. But it's also exciting. I mean, to me, it's exciting, I think, because it says Beth Adam has been around long enough that it needs another rabbi, another rabbi to continue to serving forward. Because while I've enjoyed it, I will in June of 25, I will have been here 45 years. That's a long time to be a long time to be at one institution. So for me, it's an affirmation that all of what we've been doing has value. So it's exciting. And with people like you and so many people on the committee working really diligently to create a strong process, a healthy process, to include so many voices in the process of what we want. And then when people, I guess, when the candidates come in, people have a chance to hear them, and eventually, the board makes the decision. I mean, the search committee makes a recommendation, as I think is how it's structured. The board ultimately makes a decision that they present to the congregation, and the congregation
for affirmation
does an acclamation. They're the final say, and I think it's exciting. And then I know they're working on ways to recognize my tenure here and to welcome the new person. That still means a little bit far further off, but it's pretty incredible that we're going through this. So again, I want to thank you for your time. I want to remind anyone who's listening, go to bethadam.org, go to the search, go to the rabbinic search, learn about it. If you know somebody, send them an email, let them know this is a unique opportunity. Look at how much fun I've had doing these services online, talking to people like Marie, creating this kind of community together. Those of you who've been participants online before know sort of the range and diversity of this congregation, the kind of conversations that we've had, the opportunities we've had, issues we've explored. So I believe it's really an incredible opportunity for the right person to build upon what we've done together and to keep on going forward in ways that we may not even have imagined yet. That's to me is the very exciting part of this.
I'm totally with you on that. And the reason, it is a lot of work, but the reason I said yes so quickly when asked to take this on was because I want Beth Adam to be here after I retire. I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. They'll be in my life until I retire, but not after that, most likely. I want Beth Adam to be here for me and for my kids and for everyone else's future generations. So we're all committed to that and want to make that a reality.
Well, thanks for joining us this evening, and thank you for all the work you've done. I know you have worked very hard, and your real job has taken a lot of work, and you've managed to balance both of it. So really, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And I know we're in good hands.
Thanks, Robert. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Beth Adam is so fortunate to have Maureen Marks leading the search committee. She is a dynamic, incredibly competent individual who's doing an amazing job, and she has a great team of people working with her. If you want more information, below me is the email that you can write to get more information about the search. If you're interested in the position, or you think you know somebody who might be interested in the position, write to that email, and we can send them the packet information about the position. Also, you can go to bethadam.org. Underneath the About section, there's a search button, and you can learn more about the search. This is a very, very pivotal moment in the history of Congregation Beth Adam. I have been honored and privileged to serve as the rabbi since the congregation's inception. And I know that the congregation is excited about finding the next person to serve as RCE, Rabbi Chief Executive. And until that transition takes place, I'm going to be with you on Shabbats, high holidays, adult education, and together we can continue this amazing journey that we've all been on. So we're going to continue our service now with the sharing of wine. Life is a wondrous gift. The mind observes with awe, and appreciation flows from the heart. Life's joyful bounties are unveiled. Such treasures abound in ordinary moments. A familiar face, the simplicity of a smile, tender kisses, the warmth and security of a hug, enchanting melodies, the grace of dance, the coolness of sculpted marble, a remarkable story, the complexity of atomic structure, thunder of reverberation, the shimmering of a rainbow, intoxicating rose petals. These moments become opportunities to affirm that which is good. As we lift the cup, a tribute to life's enchantments, may we find joy and contentment in our human endeavors. Bruchim hachayim ba'olam. Blessed is the life within the world. Bruchim hachayim ba'adam. Blessed is the life within each person. And we say, L'chaim, life. As I said, the best place to learn about the rabbinic search or about what's happening at Congregation Beth Adam is to go to bethadam.org, our website. There you'll see our calendar. There you can listen to podcasts. There you can watch services in our archive, Shabbat services that maybe you have missed. So go to bethadam.org. See what's happening in this congregation. It's a dynamic place. Our summer is a little bit slower. And as I will tell you next week, if you join us next week, we take a summer hiatus for the month of July. We'll post a candle lighting service, but it'll be on loop, if you will. And then I'll come back in August, at the beginning of August, and we'll continue either with a hybrid service, which is interactive, you need the Zoom link, or a stream service conversation with an individual that I know you'll find interesting. So we conclude our service with the words we end with each week. May we know blessings those who are near, and may we know blessings those who are far. And may the Sabbath bring its goodness to everyone soon, wherever they are. May we know blessings to the day, and may we know blessings to the night. May health be for our children, for all people, and all things soon be right. May we know blessings at our comings, and may we know blessings when we depart. May we live each day with peace and wisdom in each heart. Ken Yehi, let it be. Shabbat Shalom.